Okay, here's a new big thing with some white theologians and some who are on the white domination, still, caught up on the white domination psychology and theology, where it says in Revelation 1:15, and his feet like to fine brass as if they were burnt in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. They want to tell us that this feet like to fine brass is from a word called chalkolibanon or chalkolibanon, you understand, which means fine brass. And they want to say this is like white copper, and like copper that was like turned like lava or something like that. And they're not even studying the Strong's Concordance and the etymology for this word chalkolibanon or chalkolibanon. And in fact, if you just listen to the word chalco, you understand, chalco, you understand, like charcoal, you understand, chalkolibanon actually is from a two-part word, you understand. And let's go into the Strong's 5474. Chalkolibanon is made up of two words, chalco and libano. So let's go to the first word, the G5475 word. The G5475 is brass. The word is brass. You understand? What is made of brass, like money or coins of brass, also of silver and gold. Now, if you go into Thayer's lexicon for the word chalkolibanon, it kind of runs on and on, where they're doubting what the word really means. They're trying to find a way out because it's so obvious. If Christ's feet are like brass that's burned in the furnace of fire, then how are they saying that he's white? You understand that that's a clear thing. But if you look into Thayer's lexicon for this word, they'll talk about from the Vulgate, it means burnished brass, and then they'll say, well, the meaning is the word is of doubtful meaning, and then they go on to say it's a kind of a yellow frankincense. You say, what? A yellow frankincense? What does this word have to do with frankincense? Now, if you ask that question, you ask a good question, because now we have to go into the other part of this word, because when we go to chalcos, for example, let's just go a little deeper into this word. Chalcos, it means to loosen, slacken, relax, to let down from a higher place to a lower, and this is chalkio. You understand, to strike down, the root of this word. But now let's bring it back up to libanos and get the second part of this word, since the first part is said to mean something like brass. Now, what is brass? The first thing we have to define is, what is brass? What kind of metal is brass made of? So we did a little bit of research as we were doing this video, and we looked up the word brass to really see what is brass made of. And we found out that brass, which is, this is very interesting, that brass itself is actually an alloy. If you look up the word brass, let's just do that right here again. You go to Wikipedia, you understand, brass is any, they say, alloy of copper and zinc. Brass is any alloy of copper and zinc. You understand? Now, when you check that out and put that in the context of Daniel's, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar that Daniel interpreted, and the third kingdom was made of an inferior metal right there, and that was an alloy kingdom, the Greco kingdom, an alloy kingdom from the Yonanawiyan and the original black Japhethites and the original black so-called Greeks. You understand, the original name Yonanawiyan, which are Jonaites, but then there's a connection with Columbia, which also means dove. Then let's check out the word bronze, because often bronze and brass sometimes gets overlapped there. You understand? Except the word bronze is not found in the King James Bible. You understand? But bronze is in the Bible, but it's not translated properly in the King James Bible. Now, the word bronze is any of a broad range of copper alloys, usually with tin as the main additive. This is why when we talk about, in order to interpret the Bible, there has to be some knowledge of science as well as history. You remember there was a Bronze Age. You understand? There was a Bronze Age, and the whole ages with like bronze and with iron, the Iron Age, and then when steel, the metal steel comes into effect. You have to understand how this connects with a lot of the Freemasonic societies and with the stone masons and with the metal workers, metal working. You understand? It's systematic. You understand? And became increasingly widespread. But this as well was a secret society, because the whole art of taking the raw ore, you understand, and converting that, you understand, from the ground into different precious and alloy metals was something that you had to have the knowledge of. So when we interpret these things, we also have to have the correct